good morning, good evening, good night, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Excel Talk Show. We are going to code JavaScript. I'm going to do a tutorial on JavaScript Module system, the fantastic and complex crap. Well, not exactly crap, but very complex, not very good. So JavaScript Module system introduced 10 years ago, 2015. Took me a long time to get it to work because there's complications, because they actually banned local modules. It requires HTTPS to run. So we're going to talk about JavaScript, which is technical for you guys hackers, coders, okay? And JavaScript module system, that's today's topic. And right now, let me show you my keyboard. This is Glove 80. Now, if you are watching this offline, play at 1.5 speed minimum. If you are watching this here live, say hi. Love to see your comments, okay? So this keyboard, Glove 80, this is Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 80, UHK 80. I did a video review in depth, 1 hour long, 50 minutes, about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. Glove 80, okay, fantastic. So go check it out on YouTube. And Nulia trackball and the Logitech MG50, okay, those are good. Nulia trackball, I love the trackball, okay, trackball is fantastic, okay, and notice my Hoover. Let me switch back, okay, my keyboards and Hoover to activate Windows, so I don't ever have to click. One of the thing with mouse is that when you buy a mouse after a year or two, it broke because every time you right click or you left click, you drag it, the button got problems, especially with Logitech mouse. It's a commonly reported problem. So they force you to buy a new mouse almost every year. So that's very bad, Logitech mouse. But now with the Hoover to activate Windows system, I almost never do click. Can you see my screen? Yeah, you see, I almost never click. So it's fantastic, okay? Okay, so let's talk about JavaScript. So is there anyone? Nobody is here, okay? The poverty of the Excel Talk Show. It's nasty, every time, I want to do live stream, but usually my videos, everyone is about 300 views typically. 300. What am I doing it for? So you want to make it popular, of course. But how to make it popular? I know, because I've been studying the social issues, the marketing, the brainwashing, the influencing, the persuasion. All these are related topics, psychological, involve psychology. How do you persuade your friend? How do you, for example, salesman, Steve Jobs, the greatest salesman. How do you, how can you talk to people so they, or negotiation, when you, for example, job interview, you want to negotiate how much you get paid, negotiation, marketing, and also, and trends and fad and fashion, they are all related about the psychology, fad and fashion. What makes something popular for some period of time, or what makes some posts go viral, so, and also marketing, that's $1 billion research, marketing. So all these are related. It's about how it's about influence, and also brainwashing is a heavy, government research. They want to know how to control people's mind control, also part of it, okay? All these are related topics. So I had a fascination. I've been kind of studying these related topics for, casually my adult life. So, for example, YouTube. How do you make yourself popular? I only have 300 viewers. That's a problem. because you spend a lot of time. For example, it took me 2 weeks actually to go through the JavaScript module to finally have a complete understanding. Okay, but then I do a YouTube video, 300 views, so that's not good, right? So that's a problem. How do you solve this problem? That's for a nerd, it's a problem, logical problem we need to solve. Of course, I know how to solve it, but it became the condition of society today. It's very nasty, So let me explain. Hello, Spencer Pope. Hello, Damsky. Happy Toad Tuesday. What is Toad Tuesday? Cheers. This is red wine and juice. So we will start to talk about JavaScript module system. Okay. So we were saying about how do you make yourself popular on YouTube? Of course, there are many ways. I know. First of all, don't do live stream. Okay, you don't, because live stream, YouTube does not promote it. Instead, you want to do a recorded video. You want it to make it short, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And you want to make it like focused. For example, create do a video about a lecture on JavaScript module. In fact, not lecture, because lecture is associated with old professors. People don't want that. Today's people, young people, Zoomers, they want something in 5 minutes. They want to understand. They don't want like formality. Okay, so you want to do a short video, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, focus on the problem, and you want to focus on the beginners, because the millions of people, they are all beginners. They don't know a thing. They may not even know how to program, but they heard JavaScript can make you money. So that's most people. That's why you go to YouTube. There's like tons of JavaScript, for beginners. So anyway, short, focused, well packaged. Like put it in a lunchbox, like the American way, capitalism. Come with a nice packaging. Like when you go to a shopping, you go to your local supermarket. Let's say you want to buy a shampoo or soap or whatever. The packaging is all nice, all beautiful. You don't know what's inside, but you can just judge by the packaging, right? So you want to make your video short and so nice, lunchbox it, and you want to don't babble about random things like what I'm doing now. Like today's video is about JavaScript module, but first of all, let me tell you about what I thought about brainwashing. You don't want to do that. Okay, so you want to do your things for the masses, the idiotic, brainless masses. Okay, like even grandpa, grandma, you don't know who's watching, and then package it. Don't swear, don't randomly starting to say, oh, this is the most idiotic design I've ever seen. Don't do that. And so nice, and also don't remember, create a great thumbnail, like learn JavaScript module system in 5 minutes. This is the best JavaScript tutorial you've ever seen. I was shocked by this tutorial, how concise and perfect it is. Big red title. Then people will be attracted to it, So, or you put your face, oh my God. Like I learned this JavaScript trick in 5 minutes. So all these are tactics to make your YouTube popular. But it's pretty sad, because that is why when you go to YouTube today, all the contents, millions and millions of YouTube videos, you watch them, and after a while you find it's empty. It's empty of humanity. There's nothing in them. There's a fucking nothing in them. These fucking million beautiful JavaScript tutorials will show you, keyboard or mouse reviews, beautiful face talking, men or women, they all happy. It's devoid of humanity. You started to feel that. So that is the state of the, how shall we say it, corrupt American capitalism system. Everything is focused on money. Why do people do that? Nice tutorials and short and concise and happy face. Because money. Because YouTube offer money. This is how you become popular. Follow it this way. You'll be popular. You'll be influencer. Like the Mr. Beast fuckface. One of the gravest scum, Mr. Beast. He's the most popular YouTuber. So, is that interesting? So, shall we start to do JavaScript tutorial? I guess I've already driven off those whoever who wanted actually saw, oh, I wanted to learn JavaScript module system. But they saw the first 5 minutes. What the fuck is this? They already went away. Okay, so now for the rest of you, are you guys still here? Let's do the JavaScript module system. Okay, yeah, that's enough introduction. Okay, and I'm using Emacs, of course. Can you see this is the most powerful editor in the universe? Plus, especially when you are using it with Xafly keys system. This is my package. It's free and you can use it for yourself. Let's remove the backup. You see how Emacs, how powerful is Emacs. For example, let me show you. I press a key, I press a key and all the backup files are highlighted. Then I just press a key. Do you want to delete them? Yes. So all backup files are deleted. And let me demonstrate another thing about Emacs. For example, this is a directory. By the way, if you guys don't know, this is actually a directory. Let's show in Windows Explorer. And see, control magnify, control magnify, control magnify. So they become icons. Can you see? So this is actually files, but you can view it in Emacs. So now I select by regular expression, EL $, do it, enter. So they select it. I can press B2 byte compile, but actually I don't want to compile this. These are working files for my code. So press B to byte compile 34 files. Yes or no? Yes. You see the computer is doing work, heavy work. And what is this? Miscellaneous commands. Assignment to free variable. E shall history ring. Why is that? E shall history ring. That shouldn't. Okay, describe variable. What? Copy. Now describe variable. E shall wait. What? Why am I not copying? Oh, there's some delay for some reason. Okay, E shall history ring. Let's look at that. So E shall history ring is defined in this. Its value is nil. EM history. Okay. So anyway, let's start to do the Emacs. Okay. Let's start to do the JavaScript. Let's not. Anyway, the point is I'm using Emacs. Okay. For you coders, you probably have heard of it. But for you guys who have not used Xafly keys, let me just quickly introduce you. Xafly keys, so it's a key binding system for Emacs. It's free on GitHub. You can see GitHub, download on GitHub. Download it and you'll be more efficient than VI or Vim or NeoVim. Okay, the most efficient. Then there's tens of videos I did in past 6 years. Okay, That's an introduction. Stuff like keys, that's what I'm using like right now, okay? And okay, close. Okay, so copy the URL back, close. And what is this talk show? Yeah, today's talk show. So paste the link, stuff like keys, linkify, make a list, show in browser. There, okay. So, okay, let's talk about JavaScript module. So JavaScript begin, let me do this just off the top of my head, okay? Say something, hi guys, introduce yourself. Let's double check. Sometimes I talk to myself, like in my video or voice is off. Okay, JavaScript, let me just talk about it. JavaScript began life in 1995, okay? Long story short. So anyway, for the first 20 years of JavaScript, there is no module system. What does a module mean? Like a library, like when you program, if you know any programming language, Python, Golang, C, Java, C, whatever language, programming language, you have the library concept. You can put part of a code in a file as a library because, those are commonly used. So whenever you want to use them, you load them, like require something, or sometimes called load something library. Okay, but JavaScript is pretty lousy language for the first 20 years. There's no library. So people get very frustrated. Okay, now long story short, in 2015, JavaScript finally created a module system called module, which is a library system. What is JavaScript module? JavaScript module are JavaScript files designed to be used as a library. So when you need it, you load it, and any JavaScript file that imports module is also a library. Okay, this is slightly complicated and different from other programming languages, because if you have a JavaScript code and you load another library, then this JavaScript code itself is considered a module. Okay, so this is a bit complication. So anyway, in 2025, ECMAScript 2025. ECMAScript is the standardized JavaScript name. Okay, very complicated. Fuck, ECMAScript. So anyway, in 2015, they introduced the module system into JavaScript. Okay, so it's good. Okay. Now, okay, so we're gonna go through this. So, are you guys following me? Is it so good? Hello again. Hello. Okay. So JavaScript module. So let me think about how we're gonna approach this. Am I like doing a tutorial? Have you guys been coding JavaScript before? Let me see. How do I approach this? Okay. Let's go slowly. Okay. If you are watching this offline, play at 1.5 speed. Okay, JavaScript module. So in 2015, they introduced it. Okay, let me just start to talk about it. So how is the JavaScript? I assume you have some experience with JavaScript, like half a year, because otherwise you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you don't have like half a year experience coding JavaScript, this video is not for you. But I have. You search for Xali JavaScript in depth. Okay, let's see if I just search for JavaScript in depth. Let's see if it will show my tutorial. JavaScript in depth, that's the one you want, xali.info. Okay, go there. Okay, that is my tutorial. So if you never coded JavaScript, you can begin there. It's for beginners, but it's also for those professionals. Let's say you work at Google coding JavaScript for a couple of years. You'll still learn something from this JavaScript in depth, because JavaScript is a very complicated language. Very complicated. There's lots of things you don't know. Okay, you thought you know, but you are mistaken. So anyway, JavaScript. So for you beginners, check it out. Okay. Interested to hear your perspective on it. Fantastic. Okay, JavaScript is my main language at work. Oh my god. now, now I'm nervous because I'm talking to a professional JavaScript coder. Anyway, let me just go through it. Okay, so JavaScript in depth, yeah. So you can check out my tutorial, and actually you can, it's how many pages? 500 pages by now, actually. 1,000. Okay, there's 1,000 files, but half of it is CSS and HTML. Okay, CSS. Anyway, few hundred pages, and if you guys like it, you can fucking skip. The Firefox been like updating frequently, very annoying. So if you guys like it, you can actually buy my entire tutorial in as a zip file. I'll send it to you, $35. Send me Amazon gift card or PayPal. Okay, then I'll email you the zip file. Okay, just a zip file of basically the whole JavaScript and go up, and the entire tutorial for HTML and CSS and JavaScript in depth, and JavaScript object reference, and DOM, which is actually what you do when you actually code JavaScript every day. This most of the time you are dealing with DOM, which is much more complicated than JavaScript, the language. There's SVG. So if you buy it, you get the whole thing. Okay. So anyway, let's go back. Let's go back to the module. Okay. So 2015 they introduced it. By now it's 10 years ago. Okay. So I'm gonna skip part of it because less important. I'm just gonna skip. Okay, so how do you load them? So let me show you a JavaScript module. Okay, so so go to my module page. Yeah, so there it is, my tutorial JavaScript module. Go back and go to the top. You can see actually there's my module. So you see, this is how you load a JavaScript module in HTML. As you know, when you want to load a JavaScript file in HTML, you use this script tag. But if it's a module, you need to add this type equals to module. Okay, that's what you need to do. And there's another thing, is that your source value for the source attribute must begin with a ./ Okay, it cannot be just that. That won't work. You'll get error. Let's see. Let me show you. Okay, this is that value is called module specifier. Okay, so if you don't include the ./ in front, you'll get an error that says type error. Module specifier does not start with / or ./ or .. So that's a complication. So you need a ./ Okay, so let me show you a module. So this is what your module looks like. Okay, so it's just JavaScript code, except you got this import statement or export statement. So for example, this import from that file, open that file, then this file got export statement. So any JavaScript file, if it got import statement or it got export statement, then they are considered module. Okay, that's the difference. What's the difference between a module and just a JavaScript code? Well, if the file contains export statement or import statement, that's a module. Okay, if it is a module, then when you load it in HTML, you must include the type equals module. Okay, otherwise it won't work. It won't load. Okay, so that's the first thing. How to load JavaScript module in HTML file. Now, once you load one of the file, let's say, for example, this JavaScript module main, once you load it, and in this main file, you can actually load other modules. For example, here, import these two function names from this module name. So in this module name, this JS module add is not loaded from HTML. In HTML, you can just load the main file. Okay, then the main can load called import other modules. Okay, that's basically how you load it. Now, so there's another complication. Now, remember we said that this module file name must start with a /. Okay, there's another complication. If you are running things locally, like right now I am, like file / it's local files, this is my local directory. Modules does not work over local files. So in order to actually have this line work, your file must be served over HTTPS. HTTP server. Okay, another complication. Very bad. It's idiotic. This is one of the flaws of JavaScript module since 10 years ago, 2015. You must load it over over HTTP server. For example, let me show you. So for example, I got a module here. Let's say console log, and let's say let's alert AELT, alert something. Okay, alert is old. Something bad. Okay, now save it, close it, run this in browser. Did I get alert? No. Why? Because this line actually doesn't work, never load. Because I'm not running a HTTP server, so I need to run it in HTTP server. So let's do it. Okay. So how do you do it? So if you don't know, you can install Python. If you work in JavaScript professionally, you know what to do. But if you are a beginner, what you do is that you go to you install Python, and you can start the HTTP server like that. Okay, but first of all, you need to go to your directory. Okay, so let's see. Let me just do it. Okay. Magnify. Okay, so this is the PowerShell. So we need to cd web li info. Okay, go there, then paste. Okay, so paste Python -m HTTP server. That will start the HTTP server from this directory, xali.info. Okay, let's do it. Fantastic, it's running. Now, to view this page, you need to use this URL. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so copy the file path. So localhost 8000 and okay, that is the so go open it. Wait, can I open it? Open it. Error response. Oh, okay, so I know why is that. Because that's you don't need that. Okay, run it, open it. So you see, now I'm viewing this source code, this HTML source code in the browser via HTTP. And you can see the log, so it's saying that someone is visiting this page, someone visiting a page that's not found. Excuse me. So anyway, so remember, for beginners, just download Python and start it like that. First of all, go to your directory. You want to be the web root. Okay. So now this is running. Okay, so now Can you do the alert? Wait, why is the alert isn't showing? Did they deprecate alert? Let's refresh. Yeah, it's not showing. So let's Control Shift I to see the console log, and go to console, and let's refresh. So I loaded the module, and is there a error? So it's, wait, warnings. Loading failed for the module with source. Okay. Loading failed for script with source. Why is it failed? I don't know. So control. Wait, can I magnify this? Wait, what is this? So why is this module failed? Do you guys know? Okay, so loading failed for the module source HTTP localhost 8000 JS module main.js. Okay, and loading failed for the script with source. I don't understand, why are they failing? Okay, actually I don't know. Yeah, this is very bad. So what we're gonna do, so even that highlight script is not working. This is the highlight of the current link page you are in. So it says loading failed. I don't understand it. What the fuck? So even highlighting is not working. Why is that? So file name extension. So normally this will be pink because this is a current page. And if you click on comment, you see this should be highlighted. But actually, am I actually seeing this update? So let's value type. Yes, it's the log says you are loading that page, but yeah, JavaScript value type. Now Control Shift I, loading failed. So okay, this is a frustration. This is unexpected. I do not know why. Is it in a directory? Oh, I know. That's why. Thank you guys. Because okay, so Control C to cancel the server. Is it Control C? Yeah. Control C to exit the server. Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Spencer. Because I started in the wrong directory. Okay, so because that JavaScript file is actually in a directory in front of it. But okay, so let's check. So you see this highlight link, open it, go to the directory, this highlight link, go to the top, it's in Sali info. Wait. So why is it not it's in Sali.info, right? Is it? So anyway, let's let's cd to a directory before, because that's how I usually do it. So now let's start a server. Okay, now let's try it again. Let's close that. Now refresh. Error. Okay, now you need the xali.info. Okay, so close that. Close that. Yeah, now you need the xali.info. So open that. Fantastic. Now click on file name extension. That still doesn't work. God. Okay, this is bad. Now what to do? We can either move on, or we can stick to solve this problem. Very frustrating, because so the page is loading, but it's not. So Control Alt I, wait, Control Shift I. So why is the loading failed? Now how do you magnify this page? Let's see, Control plus. Okay, that's the biggest you can go. Loading failed for the script with source. So why is that loading failed? This is how to run JavaScript. So if you look at the source code, you can see, so this is CSS inspector, and you can see the file is at the bottom right there. Okay, so can we magnify this? Oh, God. Control plus. I don't think I can. This is the biggest it will go. Stupid. Okay, so anyway, so you can see it's loading that JavaScript file, but it's not allowing it. Is it because, oh God, when I run a server, it's all not working? Does it say any error? Warning info. So do you guys know? Shit, close that. So you see, it's this file, right? So show in browser again. Now it's, oh wait, this is working. So let's click that. It is working because you can see it's pink. The current page is pink because of this highlight link JavaScript. So it is indeed working. So go back to module. Now why does the, oh, now this part is all working too. Wait. Oh wow, because this is a local file. Shit. Now this is the HTTP file. So HTTP file, you click on file name extension, it's not working. You go to module and go down, you see it's not pink, and so that's not working. And I really do not know why. Control Shift I. Very annoying. Okay, so what we're gonna do, so we can keep talking about okay, so what, okay, let me quickly try to finish what I want to say about module. This video is kind of fucked with this problem, but so maybe we'll go back to that problem. Okay, so let me just then quickly talk about module. So you can load it, you can load the module in HTML. You need, use the script tag and type module, type equals to module, and then the source, the value for the source is called module specifier. Okay. The module specifier, so there are some examples. This is HTML example and HTML example, all these. So they can be a full URL starting with HTTP, or they can be // which is a relative link, or they can start with // which is what's called I think it's called protocol link. Anyway, that defaults whatever HTTP or HTTPS from the root of the vector. Okay, or it can be a relative path with / in it. Okay, or so these are examples of loading a module from HTML, but also you can load them in JavaScript code itself like that. Okay, same syntax. So all these source, they are called module specifier. Okay, so that's one thing. So the // is called HTTP, protocol relative URL. It will just / is the shortcut for either HTTP / or HTTPS / depending on whatever current page is using, which either one. So you can have // okay. So anyway, so these are the syntax for the module specifiers. That's what it means. There's the value for the source. Okay. Then there's more. There's a new feature in 2020, which is called import map. So usually a module URL or file path may be long. For example, here's a module specifier, your URL, a very long one. So, and usually in real life, you may have different versions. So it's complicated long line. So you can make it simpler by creating a what's called import map like this. So import map, so it's getting complicated. This is the complexity of JavaScript. So you say, in HTML, you say, script type equals to import map. This is new in 2020. Then code, okay. And what's this code? Import map, that's a JSON file. And the JSON file must have this format. The import is a key, imports, okay, a string. Then the value must be another object, which is key value pairs. So the keys are kind of the name you want for the module. And the value is the actual URL or relative directory, or a path. Actually, this part is wrong. This part should begin with a // remember? So let me fix that. So close that, open that. Okay, so you cannot open that. Jesus. Because of this local. You see, this is one of the very annoying thing about module, because they require you to run things over a HTTP server. So you can no longer run things locally. So what that means, let me talk about this. This is a major problem with the module, okay? Because before that, the HTML with CSS and JavaScript, they serve as a documentation system, extremely powerful. Like I can zip my entire, for example, Python directory. I can mail it to you, and you can, it's like an EPUB, like a digital book. So you have the power of JavaScript and CSS and HTML. You can format it. You can do things interactively. Like number highlighted, comment is the current page, string is the current page, Python string. So local documentation system. But now with a JavaScript module requiring a HTTP server, that's all fucked up. Because if you want to use module, then it cannot run locally. Like if I send you my zip file of the entire JavaScript tutorial, whatever, mathematics, you can't just unzip it and view it. Because then you need to otherwise, because the JavaScript won't work, this highlighting doesn't work. You need to start a HTTP server. Most people have no idea what the fuck that is, non-coders, right? So this module system fucked up the local file documentation, the concept of JavaScript, HTML, CSS as a local documentation or ebook format. They fucked it up. So that's very bad. I've been working with this, the HTML, JavaScript for 30 years. But starting the requirement to start a web server is pretty nasty, because then you have to deal with this. So that's so in summary, that's one of my major criticism of the JavaScript module system introduced in 2015. Okay, because you can't develop it locally unless you start a HTTP server. Very bad. So that's one of my criticism. Okay, so let's go back to module. Wait, so is this, yeah, so this is still running HTTPS. You can see, I don't think there's a way to magnify this URL field. Is there? I don't think so. Dev tool. So is it in directory? So does it show a response in network tab of dev tools? Okay, let's see. So Control Shift I to start the console log, then click on network, okay, and reload this page. Okay, so does it show a response in network? So let's reload this page. F5 to reload. Now let's look at, oh, okay, great tip, thank you. Oh, blocked by uBlock origin. Fucking stupid. blocked by uBlock origin. I forgot about this. Yeah, that's right. Oh, uBlock origin. Fucking idiotic. Okay, lock it. Okay. In fact, turn it off. Stupid. Okay, so let's try again. Now refresh. Fantastic. Oh, finally. Thank you. It pays to be a professional JavaScript dev, so you are right. Why are you sending JavaScript file to not non-coders? For people, it's not JavaScript. Like I have a JavaScript tutorial, but I have some other things like Alice in Wonderland, for example. Alice in Wonderland. Okay, that's literature. I don't want that. Okay, so where do I go? Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. So that's literature. And this Arabian Nights, 1,000 years old literature. So I can, people might, so like EPUB is for anything, not just code. So if you send this to other people, they can run it, because now the JavaScript requires, HTTP server, right? The reason these clowns, I'll just be I'll just be presumptuous about these people. The JavaScript standard, this we lead the technology group JavaScript standard. Why do they have this feature? By the way, this is great debugging. Thank you, Spencer. Why do they decided that this module must run over HTTPS? Because they think it's a security thing, because this way it's more secure. They don't want random files to load on your computer local files to run arbitrary JavaScript. That's what they think. However, JavaScript has always been that way. Like if I don't use module, I can load any file I want. Like right now, for example, this JavaScript file, open it, showing browser, it's loading this highlight thing, you don't see it. It's loading it anyway. So why is that when you started with a module, you prevent it, you don't, it's silly. So the way they think might be, okay, moving forward, people will start to use module instead of just, this local, JavaScript file, loading a local JavaScript file. People will just start to use module. Then it prevents, random local HTML file from loading JavaScript. That's idiotic. But you still have this, this, they didn't ban this. This is not going away. They didn't ban, like from now on, you cannot load JavaScript locally. They didn't ban it. So what's the point of, for the module system to have like the fucking idiots, they have the word cross-origin error shit. That's what they call it, cross-origin. The fucking idiots, this, like if you don't know JavaScript, or if you haven't been in the software industry for long like me, 30 years in software industry, I've seen, many languages in different communities. You might think, oh, this is, just technical. This is very, advanced. Cross-origin, resource sharing, CORS, is a browser security mechanism that controls how a web application runs on one origin defined by domain protocol port. You think this is, absolutely, so advanced, designed by these great, knowledgeable people. But my opinion is like totally fucking bullshit. Fuck them. Not totally wrong. There's some reasons for certain things and naming of the jargons, but overall they are just like in they are the result of corporate interest. Different browsers, they have interest. They or JavaScript standards organization, they have their interest. The programmers or whoever wrote JavaScript, or there's different like programmer communities, they have their interest. So usually the things we work on every day, the standards, the protocols, the jargons, the cross-origin fuck, is a result of this combination of forces. They are almost never well designed, okay, and they are almost never like necessary out of like because mathematics, you see, the complexity of mathematics is necessary because they came from nature. You can never change 1 + 1 or real numbers, or what's a complex number, or what's a fraction. Why can't you have like a rational number? Why can't why is rational number different from real number? Why do you have so many complexities? Why do you have infinity? Why do you have 1 divided by 0? Why can't you make it go away? It's not going away because that's the nature we are in. You have to ask God, okay? But this cross-origin, this fucking, that's human-made, man-made complexity, just like the C and Unix fuckheads make them all the time. Okay, that's my rant. That's basically the case, okay? The cross-origin fuck. So for example, let me give you practical reasons. Practical reasons. I work on my website. I do tutorials. I dive into programming language, right? So I want, so now there's JavaScript module. Yeah, I want to use it. I want to turn my JavaScript into modules because I want modular code. For example, let's see Unix file instantaneous, you see, or characters of Unicode characters containing whose name contains the word fire. Or I can type water, W-A-T-E-R, and it shows dynamically as I type. Or I can type Latin, or Unicode characters containing the whose name contains the word Latin. So they are Latin characters. You can see hundreds of them. So this is a JavaScript application. Let's look at the source code. Okay, open. So show in browser, this is source code. Back to Emacs, search for .js. So there it is. Search data pop up 3 files. So this is a search, this is a code, JavaScript. So I'm loading them traditionally without being a module. But now there's a module. It would be nice. I want to make my code module, right? Modularize. But I cannot. Because if I do that, actually I can do that, actually I can start to do that, But if I do that, I can no longer let's try something else. Smile, okay? Let's say heart, H-E-A-R-T, okay? All characters whose name contains the word heart. If I turn them into modules, this no longer works. It fucked up my system. I have to go to Python, go install Python, start HTTP server, whatever fuck that is. Then do this, because they say this standard organization, this priest says, oh, it's a cross-origin security fuck. These fuckheads. I'll just call them fuckheads out of my 30 years of coding experience. They are fuckheads. Things are this way not because it's necessarily so, but it is because it's a product of different interests of different corporations. It's a kind of a mess, and there's some security requirement, but overall it's just like overly bloated complexity. Okay, that's what I have to say. So why are you sending JavaScript? So why does this page need JavaScript load? It's a static content. Well, you missed what I was saying, okay? So for example, let me explain. So for example, this module file or any file, like any file, actually, let me show you any file. So let me go to a local file, okay? Let's see this. Okay, this is loaded locally. Any file. So I want to highlight, the current, this here is the topic box. So these are all pages related to the JavaScript module system. So you can go to the next one, examples. You can go to the next one. What are exports? What are the different syntax? What is export? So there are two exports. One is called default export and one is called named export. They're very different. Okay. So anyway, here's the topic box at the bottom. Every page about module subsections. Okay. So you see they are pink. You see the current one is highlighted pink. How is that done? I explained before. That's because this highlight link JavaScript code. Okay, you open it, you go to the top, you can see Windows start location, path name, highlight link of current page, document query, select all, dot panel and dot topic and dot RLTD, that's relative links, so all with the anchor link. So you basically select all the topic box or the panel box, and you look at them. If the current file, if the current link is the same as the current URL, then you highlight it pink. Okay? JavaScript. That's why you need it. Even for whatever page, about not about programming. Like just like what do you need JavaScript in EPUB for? EPUB, the Amazon digital book or whatever digital book, different format. You need them to even take notes or whatever. Okay, so JavaScript, that's general purpose. You need a programming language in a documentation system. That's why you have them. Okay, so it's static content. So you don't need. Okay, so I think I explained that. Francis Holder. Okay, I think that's it for that today. So we haven't explained. I ranted a bunch, but we haven't gone actually go over as a tutorial of the JavaScript import export module system. But I think that's okay. That's it for today. I think can be done in CSS. No, you can. Yes, it can. Let me show you. Okay, so go to CSS. So what you are talking about is using CSS to highlight the current page. Okay, and you can see that in tabs. Okay, tab A, tab B, tab C. So let's go to tab C. So let's go to tab A. Actually, they changed, so tab A, tab B, tab C. Okay, now this is implemented without JavaScript. No JavaScript. Okay, how do you do that? I explain here. Okay, this is written in 2006, 20 years ago. You don't need it. However, you don't know your shit, okay? Because you can do that, but then it becomes very complex because I have hundreds of topic boxes. Okay. Anyway, just in general, you cannot do whatever JavaScript can do by just CSS. Okay. In some situations like the tab or the current page, yeah, you can do it with CSS, but then you need to manually, I need to, for every topic box of my 10,000 manually crafted HTML pages, for every topic box, for example, let's go to, is there a topic box there? Okay, so let's copy that and search topic box. Let's see how many I have in sali.info. Okay, you get 100 of them basically. So you'll wait, you'll take 10 seconds to show. So for every topic box, then you need to create this CSS. That's no good because then you can work dynamically. Every time you create a new page, you have to consider, what topic, what other pages is going to be used in conjunction with the current page I'm writing, or in the future, I'm going to have another page that's related to what I'm writing today. So I need to think about that. That's not going to work. Okay. So, and in general, CSS cannot replace JavaScript. Okay. Right now it's still searching. Okay. I think that's it for today. Does that make sense? Use the attribute equals to syntax. Yeah, I don't think you make much sense. Are you like a CSS expert? So let's see. How long have I been talking? This video has been going on for an hour. Okay, so now it's time to shut up. So let's consider what you are saying. So right now it's still searching my website. Yeah, it takes a while because loading the disks. But you are saying you just Google it. Yeah, you don't know. Okay. So, but like, because like I said, in general, you cannot use CSS to replace whatever JavaScript do. Okay. It's too many. So here is all my topic boxes. You can see there are thousands. Okay, they are like 47,000 lines. Divided by 10, then you got 4,700 about. Then you divide it by the duplicate. You make them unique. You have like, I would say few hundred, 100 or 200, 300 topic boxes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it. Let's see what else. Okay. So I've done today. So it's kind of a rant. So close that, showing browser module. So we didn't really go through everything. So, but we criticize this, the module system is not very good, not good. Okay. It's got quite a few issues. One of them, the most fundamental, is a requirement of HTTP server to use it. Okay, in my opinion, that's one of the worst. The second worst problem is that when you export, so let's go to the topic box. When you export, so let me show you guys what's the syntax. Just quickly. So this part, you can see this is an example. So you have a module file, a library, then you can say, so this is a file. You have two functions, F1, F2. Then you can export them by this export statement. Okay, so that's a module. Then in your main JavaScript file, you can say import, okay, from this this module file name, relative file /. Okay, then you can call the function F1. You can use it. Now, for the main file, you can load it. Again, remember, you load with a script tag with the type equals to module. And the file path must /. Okay, this is a simple example of module. This is of importing named export. Okay, now when you export, there's another thing called default export. Okay, so in that case, you do it this way. So this is a module file. You say export default, then a value. It's not a name, but a value, like an object. Then the import, you say import something G from that. Okay, so anyway, so the thing here is that when you have a module, when you write a module, you need to export, right? So to export, there are two different kind of export. One is called default export. One is called named export. Okay, so this is a major problem. This is a major idiocy in the JavaScript language design. They have these two kinds, which is not necessary at all. Because, so what does the default export do? Basically, they just export one single value. This value can be an object, can be an array, can be whatever, can be a function, or it can be a name, like a name of a function, name of a variable name, like variable name. So basically, the essence of this export is it export one single thing. Could be a name, variable name, or a value. Okay. Then you have named export, which is more kind of logical and normal in all the other programming languages. You just export whatever functions you want or variable. In your package, you say, I want to export this name, export that name, this, a bunch of names. But in JavaScript, they have these two, they combine these two. I mean, they created this idiocy. Like, oh, you have the default export, then you have name export. The default export is not necessary at all. Why? Because if you just want to export a value, just give a name and use the name export this variable name. Simple, logical. Why do you need a special, there's a special export called default export? What an idiocy. And if you are thinking, we need to we need some kind of default export so people don't have to think about names. That's very easy to solve. Just have a named export with one of the variable name special. This variable value will be just called default. So everything is you do the same single syntax with named export, then you have a default name. That means the default export. Very simple too. But JavaScript, they created two like completely different export. One is called default, one is named. And when you import, there's more complexity, more than that. When you import, you can import just the default export. You can also import one named export or more than one named export or all of the named export. And you can also import the default export and one or more of the named export. So it's like fucking complexity. The idiots, the JavaScript committee, whoever created them, so that's what I'm talking about is let's see, where do I talk about export explained. Okay, so here there are two kinds of export, default and named. Okay, now when people import, you can import one or more than one or all of named export, or you can import just the default export, or you can import both of the above. Very complex. Idiocy. But that's not all. Then when you export, may it be default export or named export, you have 1,000 syntax for it. Doing the same thing. For example, you can have export or the name here. This is the most simple. Just export at least, name 1, name 2. This is the best. Export syntax for named export. This is the best. Okay, but then you can also put the export at each location of the variable or function declaration. So now you have two syntax to do exactly the same thing. The JavaScript committee idiots, the industrial idiots, they did this. Okay. Then, okay, so we are talking about the syntax for named export. Okay, there are many. Then you can also export from symbols that you imported from another module. Okay, so that's that. Well, this is useful. Okay. Then you have the different thing, the default export thing, which is entirely different from the named export. So then they have a set of their own syntaxes. Okay, so the whole thing is just extremely idiotic in my opinion. Okay, so that's the import export. Okay, so I explained my criticism. Then you have static import. Let's see. Agentic AI can write my code now. No, it cannot. Okay. Skeletal delight. AI helps a lot, but so far they cannot write. They can write toy code, 10 lines of a code solving a puzzle. But if you ask it to write anything that's more than a few hundred lines, it's always never works. It doesn't work. I would say more than 200 lines, it just don't work. Okay, you have to know what you're doing, AI. So anyway, so there's also, so we need to explain static import, but then in 2020, they created dynamic import. Okay, I'm not gonna explain because it's gonna, then in 2020, they created import map. Okay, complex and more complex. Then there's history of it, common.js and AMD.js. Okay, common.js, that's kind of history. Okay, I think that's it for today. Cheers. Hope you guys have a good life. I hate default export. So why do they create that? Do you have any idea? I asked. I think the reason they create default export is because back then, JavaScript does not have a module system for like since 1995. So 95 and 2005 and 2000. So for 20 years, JavaScript does not have any module system. So people started to, coders, when you create large project, you need libraries, right? So they started to create their own convention. So there's CommonJS beginning in 2009, very popular. So, okay, even before CommonJS, you walk around. So before this CommonJS, you walk around the no module system by including, let's say you have a file. Let's say this file is all related to, let's say, about creating random numbers or cryptography or whatever. Let's say for drawing, okay? So you have a library, it's all about drawing circles or squares in SVG, okay? But JavaScript doesn't have a module system. So what you can do, is that you put all the code inside the object. You put all the code inside a function, because back then, before 2015, JavaScript doesn't even have, like, you can't have local variables in a block. The only local variable you can have must be inside a function. So you have a whole bunch of files, functions, you put all of them inside a function. And this function serves as kind of a block of code, serve as your module scope. Okay, so this function. So then when you want to load the library, you basically load this function, just one single function name. Yeah, kind of like that, okay? So that's why you have this default module system, because basically what people were doing before this system is that they are just loading a single object, something like that, okay? So that's why, for kind of traditional, like for habit reasons, they added they created this default export. That is my guess, okay? Actually, I should ask Grok about why. Maybe Grok, AI can tell me. Okay, that's it. I'm not sure offhand. I guess it's legacy thing, okay? Thank you guys for watching. Now, if you guys like my tutorial, again, you can buy my entire JavaScript tutorial. In fact, I should, so we didn't go in detail about this history and stuff, but that's it for today, okay? So JavaScript in depth, if you want the entire thing, which plugin have you used to do this thing? None. So my entire JavaScript is without any framework. You don't need any framework, or just pure building in browser, or just works, So you can, if you like it, go there, saw JavaScript in depth, and send me money, and I'll send you the zip file. I can read it online. Why should I pay? Because you are beautiful. Thank you guys. Bye.